baby, and welcome back to Words with Wayman. I am your host, as always, Matt Wayman. Thank you so much for joining us again. We took a brief hiatus. I had to move from Denver, Colorado, back to St. Louis, and I had some moving stuff going on. But we're back now. We're going to be going weekly again with a new episode for you guys. So thank you for hanging in there. Nobody said anything one way or the other, but we're back, everybody. I'm excited. We got a hot St. Louis guest for you guys. Please welcome to the podcast stand-up comedian, actor, musician, Mr. Adam Hoppe. Thank you for coming out.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, first of all, I want to give you a compliment right out the gate. When I moved to town, I just moved back from Denver, and you were super nice right away, so I want to say thank you for that. And that's more of just a thanks, but it was cool of you to be nice right when I moved back, because I know some people, take time, but you're a sweet boy right away. So, how did you get involved in the comedies?
What got me involved in St. Louis comedy scene was I was doing a web series with a buddy of mine, Ryan Cole. We were doing this web series called The Best Bet.
Nice.
And he decided he was going to teach abroad in China.
As you do.
Yeah. So I had no comedy outlet, and I was like, well, I'm going to give stand-up comedy a shot at this point.
What was your guys' web series about?
It was a buddy comedy.
Nice.
So it was Broad City, but with the guys.
Cool.
So it was Guy City.
How'd you guys shoot it?
We shot it on a little handheld. And,
nice.
Yeah.
What, just edited?
Pretty basic editing, and yeah, it was. We like to keep the punk rock aesthetic about us, and you can tell because how crappy the videos turned out.
I mean, it's like a thing to be said for quality, but just putting the videos out, I think, is the hardest part. Just setting the time aside to record everything. So you're looking to get into stand-up, and then did you write stuff down before you started stand-up, or did you just get up there?
Oh, I wrote everything down. I had 3 pages written down that I rehearsed in front of my fiance now. And,
Whoa!
And
she stuck around.
She did. We weren't engaged at the time, but
yeah.
So it wasn't too horrible, I don't think. But yeah, the first time on stage was rough.
Yeah. Did she see the first time you did?
She was there, and I had one joke that hit, and I still remember this. St. Louis comedian, great comedian, Kenny Kynes, laughed at one of my jokes, and it was going horribly, and then he laughed at one of my jokes, and that kept me going just, up to this point, yeah.
That's hilarious. It's super hard, especially that first time. I feel like you almost just black out and just like wake back up afterwards. How'd it go? And everybody's like, it was something. It was bad. It has to be bad though, or else it would be, I feel personally, you wouldn't take it as serious if you didn't do bad for a while, because you just think it was easy.
Yeah, if there's no evolution, like if you're good right out of the gate, that's no fun. You got to see some progress with it.
How long have you been doing it currently?
I've been doing it for over 2 years now.
Nice. So you got over that. I feel like that 1 year hump is a big thing where it's like, should I keep doing this? Because I wasn't fun. I mean, still not a crusher, but it takes years and years to get funny.
It does. And yeah, you eat shit for a really long time. I'm still eating shit.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. I still love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you have a good time doing it, then you kind of have to keep doing it. You played in a band before you got into comedy. I feel like that's a natural progression that a lot of people make after playing in a band. How did you? What was the band about?
The band was a friend of mine. Well, and I made friends with him. Dan Meehan from Powerline Sneakers. Made friends with him through his wife, who I worked with at a kiosk at a mall.
As you do.
And she found out that I enjoyed punk rock, and I met her husband for the first time. He had a Descendants tattoo, and
nice.
The rest is history.
That's hilarious. Yeah. It's a short book. It's just saying the rest is history. You're a guitarist, am I correct in saying
I am
that?
a bass player.
Bass player, cool.
Which means I don't get laid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it, but at least you look cool. Well, I mean, there's a lot of bass players that sing, too. I feel like you have to sing to get laid. That's the thing anyway.
Yeah, you do have to sing to get laid.
No, you could be a bass player that's a lead singer. Nobody'd bang you because you're a bassist. They'd bang you because you're a lead singer.
Well, maybe that was my thing, is I wasn't trying to get laid, so I was like, nah, bass.
I'm in it for the music.
Sing. Yeah.
I did. That's the. I've never heard that before. Somebody get into music not to get laid. I thought that was.
Yeah, I get laid on personality alone.
Yeah.
I was like, I could be shoveling shit for a living and I would still get laid. I was like, I need to not get laid.
No, I need to just be really bad at bass so you never absolutely ever get laid. Did you guys gig a lot?
We did a lot of shows around town. It's been kind of going slow lately. A couple guys married with kids.
Oh, so it's still currently a project that's going?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. How many times a month do you guys normally play now that it's a little tougher?
Last show we played was about 2 months ago, but
nice.
Yeah, we try to get out once or twice a month.
Cool.
Play a gig.
Did you guys rehearse before?
We try to get a few practices in, and we got our set down pat now.
Nice.
So even if it's crappy, we'll just be like, no, we're trying to be the replacement. So
yeah. So have some respect.
Yeah.
It's tough, especially with a band, like you said. I mean, just getting people together. Like stand-up, you can just go do a set and then you're done for the night. Bands, like you got to get all those people together to rehearse and do all that.
Yes.
Did you guys ever tour?
Never toured, just stayed in the city.
Nice.
That's the one thing that I regret never doing is spending a bunch of time in a van with guys and talking about our dicks for hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, you saved another thing there, spending a bunch of time in a van with a bunch of hot boys. It's fun for like a week. I feel like anything over 2 weeks is just kind of a nightmare, especially with bands. I never toured like for a super long time with bands, but for comedy, you're traveling 4 or 5 guys, and it's so glorified, but then you're like sleeping on like a floor every night. You're like getting drunk because you have to go to bed.
What, is that a bad thing for you? I enjoy sleeping on floors.
Yeah. Well, if you're a floor man, then I think let's get you on the road.
It's great for your back.
Great for your back and your mood and overall outlook on life. Are you originally from St. Louis?
I am. I grew up in North County, St. Louis.
Nice. Your family's all from St. Louis?
Yes.
Nice. We're a couple of St. Louis boys,
A couple of St. Louis guys.
I grew up in Webster Groves. I think we've talked about that before. The question everybody asks people when they are from St. Louis is, what high school did you go to?
I went to Riverview Gardens.
Bro, I didn't even know that was a high school.
Yeah.
Sounds like an old folks home. Do you guys have a lot of old people there?
No, we had some good times.
It sounds like a nice place.
You ask people around town if it's a nice place, and they'll generally say no.
Really? It gets a bad rap?
It gets a bad rap. So it's pretty close to where Ferguson is.
Okay.
So
north?
Yeah, north.
Yeah.
So we give you a little bit of an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus
So I was a minority within the school.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely gave me a great outlook on life, just as far as trying to fit in with all kinds of people.
Knowing that there's diversity out there and at least being seeing it from a young age.
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely parts of St. Louis, if you look at it like that are segregated in a way, just where there's not a lot of minorities or anything. That must have been, as a child, but that's probably why you have such a humble and good attitude on life now. What do you do for work currently when you're not doing the stand-ups?
I am a manager for a grocery chain. I won't say what chain.
Don't say it.
Yeah, don't say it.
You're not allowed to say it. It's St. Louis-based grocery chain, guys. One of the good ones. I was there today.
It was the best one.
Was the best one?
Was the best one. Is the best one.
Is the best. There we go.
Yeah,
Come on. You have to say that. Something buzzed when you didn't say is the best one in your pocket.
Yeah, I can imagine the store manager be like,
heard you on that podcast.
Yeah. I heard Matt Wayman's podcast.
Yeah, we listen. We scan podcasts to make sure that you're not talking about our grocery chain on the internet, okay? They're going to put you in timeout for an hour. How do you write the stand-ups? What's your writing process look like?
Occasionally, I will just overhear somebody say something, a phrase, and I may take that and then build around that, and it may end up as the punchline, may end up as the premise. But a lot of times it's a stream of consciousness thing. Like, I'll have an idea. I have a joke about playing bass in a band, and there's just so many places you can go with, premise, punchline, tags for that. Like, that's going to build to be something, 15 minutes of me just talking about playing bass in a band.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I feel like I would love to have a bit over 2 minutes long myself, especially because you've done it for a long time and like you have all those experiences. It seems like, you have more stuff to talk about. And plus, those are the bits that you can tell that people are like, oh, he believes in that because he's actually played bass in a band. I think it is a good angle that you're going to talk about how you did get into music, not to get laid, because
I haven't built that into my set yet. That's
super original. Stuff. I'm the one dude out there that hasn't that joined a band for the music. A lot of people thought I couldn't exist. How much material would you say that you have?
At this point now, I would say I have a solid 10 minutes, but I can go 20. It's all about peppering in the funny parts with the not so funny parts.
Yeah, that's a tough thing, because like stuff that that is gonna go over the best, just because it might not be a joke that hits like that hard every time. Yeah, stretching is one of the tough things in comedy. When I started down in New Orleans, you'd only get like 15 minutes of stage time. You'd never do just like 4 or 5, so they would just like leave you up to the wolves a little bit. But I think it teaches you in a way how to stretch your time out. There is some showcases in here in St. Louis, but you don't get a chance to do as crazy much time, I feel like.
Well, one of the things that helped me out a lot when I was first starting is I would go to a music open mic that was in St. Charles. It's no longer a thing. At least I don't think it is. But I was the only stand-up comic that would go there,
nice.
And I would get as much time as the musicians would. So I would get 10 to 12 minutes just to kind of goof around and play around with ideas, because I didn't have that much material written. So I was like, I want to take up this time. I'm going to try to develop ideas while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Did you find that helped you get a decent amount of material just writing on stage like that?
It helped me get over the fear of performing in front of people. Just having that much time and, try to keep them interested.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm sure I would find that they'd probably in general be better crowds because it's a music open mic and they just kind of want to see different things. That's what's weird to me, that there's not more open mics like that with music and comedy and everything that do that well. Like there's a couple that pop up every once in a while. Like you said, that one's not going on anymore. How many do you just like take a new 5 minutes out at the beginning of the week and try to work on it, or how do you work on it on stage?
More times than not, I will take tried and true material and then I'll throw a new bit in with that. That way, you start off on some laughs and then you try the new stuff, and because you go out with a new 5 minutes, like you don't necessarily know if it's going to work or not. Like you might think it's funny, but you don't necessarily know if it's going to fly with the audience. So I mean, if something's tried and true and people think you're funny off the bat, like trying something new, they'll be like, yeah, I get what this guy's trying to do here.
Yeah, that's a good way. At least prove yourself out the gate with something that you've done before. So like, I respect him, he's going to be funny, and then you can try something new. If it doesn't go up, you're like, all right. I feel like I've made that mistake several times of just coming out with a new bit because I'm excited about it, and then realizing quickly that was a poor idea to do that.
Yeah, I made that mistake. I was at Funny Bone for their open mic, and Nikki Glazer came into town.
Yeah.
And she went on before I did, and I had this new thing I wanted to work on. I wasn't going to do the old stuff, and just because I was intrigued with watching her perform, I was I really enjoy her stuff, and kind of got me out of my mind. I was like, then I got up on stage, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I had all this new stuff I wanted to do. So yeah, I started off with a joke like, yeah, I'm the Bobby Fischer of comedy.
That's it.
Yeah. I think I may have said something like, I'm going to die in obscurity.
Oh, God. Everyone's like, should we get him, is this comedy or should we get him help? Does he need us to...
So don't ever say you're the Bobby Fischer of comedy.
I think there might be something else in there. Truly are the Bobby Fischer. Everybody's like, where'd he go? We don't know. We don't know where he went. That's funny. Yeah, but you gotta do that to know that, and to never do that again. You're like, I never want to go up on stage and have that feeling.
The worst. That's the worst bombing I've had recently.
Really?
It was all me being inside my own head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot to be said about following somebody big like that has been on TV, that is a national headliner. That's a lot of pressure to go after them. I've had to go after some big people, and it's tough. Well, at least you didn't, super blow it. I mean, or else we would have seen it on the internet.
Everybody was real concerned about me when I got off stage.
Oh, really?
They're like, are you going to be all right? It's like, yeah, I think so. Just let me go home and chill.
You just kind of melt down?
Well, no, I didn't melt down, but they saw how bad I did. And they're like, I haven't seen you do that bad in I don't know how long.
I feel like people are like, oh, that feels bad. It never feels as bad on stage. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I might be blowing it, but it doesn't feel as bad as I feel like even watching it does sometimes.
Yeah, I think it feels worse than it actually looks or sounds to other people.
Yeah. You're like, I do this a lot. Or not a lot, but it's like, I can deal with this. I'm going to forget about it in a day or two. Speaking of forgetting about it, we will forget about this podcast shortly. Yeah, that's how quickly these things go. Before we get out of here, do you want to plug anything? You want to plug your Twitters? I know you can't plug your job, but
well, keep a lookout for a new music project I'm doing with a local comic, Shannon Yarborough.
Nice.
Yep. Since I'm Adam and he's Shannon, we are Shadam.
Nice.
With an exclamation point.
That's awesome.
Kind of like Against Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an acoustic parody type thing, and
cool.
We've taken it out one time and got good response, so we're gonna keep going with it.
Nice. Let's talk about that at the beginning of the next episode because that sounds really cool. Thank you so much for listening. And what's Adam Hoppe on Facebook? What's your Twitter address so people can follow you if they want?
It's Jungle Hop at Twitter.
Jungle Hop, cool. And you can also check out, we got a couple videos up on my YouTube that we made together that everybody can see. Matt Wayman on YouTube. Support us on Twitter at Words with Wayman. Say thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all soon.